All right, so let's set the scene. Imagine an entire nation just holding its breath. Their king has just died in battle, and this huge power vacuum has opened up, threatening to rip the whole country in two. This isn't just some dusty old story. It's about a kingdom teetering on the edge of civil war, a showdown between two great families fighting for one throne.
So, with King Saul gone, ancient Israel is in total chaos. The throne is empty, people don't know who to be loyal to, and nobody knows what's coming next. This is one of those moments in history where everything is on the line, where new heroes can rise up and old empires can totally collapse.
And right out of this chaos, two sides start to form. On one side, you've got the House of David. Yeah, that David, the young hero who famously took down Goliath. And on the other, you've got the House of Saul, the established royal family, desperately trying to cling to power through the king's son. With two different claims to the same throne, well, a fight wasn't just possible, it was pretty much guaranteed.
So how does this whole split actually go down? Well, the nation doesn't just neatly pick a side. Nope, it fractures. It splinters right down the middle, leading to something that should be impossible: two kings, two thrones, all inside one very divided kingdom.
David makes the first play, but it's a smart one. He seeks divine guidance, and the answer he gets is, go to Hebron. Now, this wasn't just a random pin on a map. Hebron was a really old, very influential city right in the heart of his own tribe, Judah. I mean, what a perfect place to start building your power base, right?
And wow, this move pays off, like right away. The people from his own tribe, the men of Judah, they totally rally behind him. They meet him in Hebron, and they formally anoint him as king. They don't just see a war hero anymore, they see their rightful ruler. So just like that, David's got himself a crown and a capital city.
But hold on, the rest of Israel isn't quite ready to jump on the bandwagon. See, there's this guy Abner, the commander of Saul's old army, and he's a major power player. He's not going to let the old dynasty just fade away. He takes matters into his own hands, finds Saul's last surviving son, Ish-Bosheth, and basically crowns him king over all the northern tribes. And boom, you've got a rival kingdom. So, here's how it all shakes out. You've got David, firmly in control of the powerful southern tribe of Judah, ruling from Hebron for a solid 7.5 years. And then you have Ish-Bosheth, who's technically king over the rest of Israel, but his grip on power is way weaker. His reign only lasts for 2 years. The lines have officially been drawn. With two kings and two armies, you know that a political argument isn't going to stay political for very long. It was really just a matter of time before talk turned to fighting. And that first big clash, the first time blood is spilled, happens at a place called Gibeon. Can you just picture this? David's army, led by his fierce general Joab, marches up to one side of the pool of Gibeon. And who's on the other side? Ish-Bosheth's army, led by none other than General Abner. It's this incredibly tense standoff. I mean, these are armies of brothers, men who used to fight side by side, now staring each other down. And then Abner breaks the silence with this really strange and deadly idea. He basically proposes a trial by combat. Instead of a full-on war, he suggests, let's just have some of our best young guys fight it out in front of everybody. It's almost like a gruesome sporting event. And Joab, who never backs down from a challenge, he's just like, fine, let's do it. So, the champions are picked. 12 of the best young fighters from Abner's side, representing the house of Saul, and 12 of David's best men, fighting for Joab. 12 versus 12, a perfectly matched contest, or so it seemed.
But what happens next is just a complete and utter tragedy. These warriors are so evenly matched, so incredibly fierce, that they just destroy each other. Every single man grabs his opponent, shoves a dagger in his side, and all 24 of them fall down dead, together. The one contest that was meant to prevent a battle ends in a horrific tie, and of course, it immediately triggers a massive all-out war. The Battle of Gibeon was absolutely brutal, but war is never just about strategy and numbers. It's really about personal stories, about individual tragedies. And inside this bigger battle, there's one specific chase that shows you the deep personal cost of this civil war. So let me introduce you to Asahel. He's David's nephew, and his brother is the general, Joab. Now this kid is famous for being unbelievably fast. They say he was as fleet-footed as a wild gazelle. And in the middle of the battle, he decides he's going for the biggest target on the field, the enemy commander, Abner himself. Abner, he's a seasoned veteran.
He sees exactly how this is going to end. He keeps warning the kid, yelling at him to turn back. It's not that he's scared to fight. It's that he knows killing Joab's brother is going to turn this war into a personal blood feud, a cycle of revenge that will go on long after the battle is over.
But Asahel, he just refuses to listen. His pride, his ambition, it keeps him going until Abner literally has no other choice. He makes this quick defensive move, jabbing backward with the butt end of his spear. It wasn't even meant to be a lethal blow, but it hits Asahel in the stomach so hard that he's killed instantly. And just like that, the tragic chase is over.
When the dust finally settles, the numbers tell the whole story. David's army had a stunning victory, losing only 20 men. Abner's army, they lost 360. So it was a decisive military win for the house of David, no question. But it was a victory that felt bitter, tainted by the deeply personal cost of Asahel's death.
The Battle of Gibeon wasn't the end of the war, not by a long shot. In fact, it was just a beginning. It really set the stage for a long, slow, grinding war of attrition between these two houses.
And really, this one sentence sums up the whole dynamic of the war that followed. It just dragged on. It wasn't about big, decisive battles anymore, but this slow, painful struggle to just wear the other side down. And the momentum was crystal clear. With every passing month, David's house was gaining strength, while Saul's was just cracking and crumbling.
And here's the clearest sign of David's growing stability. While Saul's family is falling apart, David is literally building a dynasty over in Hebron. Sons are being born, and in that time and place, that meant everything. It meant a secure future, a line of succession. Every single name you see on this list represents another pillar holding up the foundation of David's future kingdom.
So David's side is winning, his power is growing, his dynasty is taking root. It all seems to be going his way. But this victory is being built on the tragedy of a nation fighting itself, of champions slaughtering each other, of a general being forced to kill his comrade's brother. It leaves us with a really heavy question. In a war that pits brother against brother, what is the true price of wearing a crown?